Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Nemesis, and here I am, back again to draw the Ekko side. So the last time we were here, we were doing the Jinx side, and now it's time for Ekko side. Now, this is going to be my first time trying to color, use the colors that came with Ekko, which is like that purpley violet brown, but I did try some tests. So I'm going to show you guys. I have this other book I bought off of a YouTube somewhere, but I did some color tests to see what I got, and here is my color test. One was too light, as you can see there on the bottom, and the other one was just the right color, and I figured I will just figure it out as I go, but I did Jinx, and Jinx turned out fine. I'm just not sure how I felt about the light blue purple, but this color that I picked out for this was pretty good. So let's get to it, I guess. So, sorry. Now, if you guys are just coming back for the first time, I know that you guys might hear raining outside, but we're going to start the process. So I was going to do one pass over the first time, and it's raining outside, so it's very, very relaxing in my opinion. But I was actually hoping that this would be quicker than it was. And you know, it was weird because I actually did this all in one sitting. And the last time I did Jinx I had to do in several sittings because I just kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. And I wasn't sure how these colors that I was doing were gonna dry. And I did do some color grading on this so I could try to make it as accurate as possible. Because when I started doing the color for the hair, I felt like I was just getting ahead of myself because I ended up picking the wrong one. It looked too dark. Because what I wanted something that was white. But I know I couldn't have a white. That's not how it works. So I chose this off lemony color from, I think, the pastels, because I have almost all the markers except the gray scale ones, and I think I did pretty good, even though I was just color checking through, just really trying. And as you guys know, if you guys didn't watch the other one, I'm not really good with coloring with markers, but I'm just trying to get better because I wanted to go back to traditional art, because I'm not very good at it and I just want to get better, and I get so jealous of other people when they have physical stuff to show people and I just have a bunch of digital stuff on my Instagram, and I'd rather there be something that I could show people like this and be like, oh look, well I painted all this, or what do you say? Markered? Colored? Whatever. I colored all this in one sitting. It only took me an hour, and I feel like for the first time I'm actually getting faster at drawing, because I know an hour doesn't seem like a long time, but usually it takes me weeks to get a drawing done for my other channel. So it takes sometimes there's a piece on my other channel that took me a year because I just kept waddling around with it. I am so sorry. So I live next to literally everything that makes noise. I live next to a police station and hospitals, and I live next to all those things that just drive all the time. So you'll probably hear it in the background. Now I actually sped this up so it wouldn't be an hour long, and I think my first pass over is okay. But I didn't really like how, when you looked at Ekko, he just looked lavender. And it really did look lavender, instead of brown, or that purpley brown that the show was having his skin color be. So I knew that I was already going to have to do maybe a second or third pass. But my fear was that once I got to the third pass, I would have a hard time seeing, because this setup that I have is not very good. You should see, I have this unique U thing, and it puts a light over my my art. And then I have like another light that's over top that I use for my VTuber model. And so I'm very well lit. But then when I see this, I'm like, I don't know. But you know what I also want to do? There's this art thing that I keep seeing people do, but I don't know how to do it. It's like color hatching. But I see people do it with markers and paint. And I don't know how they're doing it, but it looks so cool. And I keep thinking that I'm going to do that stuff. But like, I don't know if anyone here is watching, but I don't know if anyone's like me, but I see someone's art and I love it. And then I want to do like them. So then I do like them. And then I have an aesthetic that I also want. And I can't have that. Like right now, I am like blending here and I'm just blending how I saw other people blend because I don't actually know how to. I'm really just guessing. So back to what I was saying, my aesthetic that I've always wanted was I always wanted that 90s anime watercolor because that was so popular. That's the idea that I want. But then when I see something like poppy or punchy with bright saturated colors, I'm like, no, that's me. I want to do that 90s anime like poppy punchy color. And I can't find a good mix between picking watercolor and picking cell shaded. So I do this weird thing where I want to do both. And this thing with the markers is very different than what I'm used to because I have to make decisions. And let me tell you, can we have a discussion about why do you have to pick out like 17 markers to do one piece of artwork? I probably spent like at least 3 or 4 minutes every day, like going through 6 or 7 different marker types. Well, not marker types, but marker colors, picking out, is this the right color? Is this the right shade? Is this the right shade? Looking at pictures of Ekko and just hoping and praying that some of these colors just work together correctly, because I felt like it was a mix because I know how to do it digitally, because what I do is I'll like lower the color and then move to the diagonal a little bit, like saturate it and move to the right, and it always just works for me. And I move the color shade a little bit, but with this it was more guessing. Like right here where you see me coloring in right here, I'm actually using red because I figured that it's like a really dark red, but the red actually works in my favor. But I picked an other color originally, and that color was actually close to this color, but it was brown. And I realized that the brown kind of sucks because it looks a little bit muted, because I want my art to look like other people's art. So when they look at mine, they go, oh my God, look how much art she put on here. I don't even know what that expression is supposed to mean, but I want them to look at my art and think that. So I also had problems here. Like, look right here. I made mistakes right here because I wanted vanilla, like a dark vanilla color that was saturated. So right here, I ended up having to do a cut because I had to go look for other markers, because the markers that I picked looked good in the original like version at the beginning. But then when I started putting it in practice, it looked kind of bad. And then I tried to hide it, because what I should have done is I probably should have used an orange, because I think like a light orange, like a baby orange. But I thought maybe it would be too skin colored, but I kind of got something that I'm doing here. I honestly could have picked different colors, and I wish I think I'm going to need to watch more videos on how to actually pick colors for artwork, because I have like looking at having almost 400 markers all together, all in one place. It's very overwhelming. Even when you have swatches, I look at the swatches first and then I go pick colors. And sometimes I feel like I'm getting colorblind looking at all the colors and trying to make differences when there's just such a slight difference. And I'm like, well, which one would technically look better? Should I make it more saturated? Because you can see right here, like it looks okay, but you can hardly tell. Like I wanted there to be those little shadows in like his dreads, like in Arcane. But this kind of just looks like a mess to me, and I tried to fix it putting the original marker color back over it to blend it. You guys are going to have to tell me what you think in the comments, because I feel that this is a little bit of a hot mess in my opinion. And I would love to know how people get the smooth marker where it looks good. The only thing that I think I'm actually good at is when I take these fine liners that I got from Staedler and I use them, because that was the only thing I was actually good at. Like before I was doing traditional art on my own, I never actually used color other than colored pencils. I never used marker. I never used watercolor. I used watercolor pencils, and I also used ink. That's all I had. I had those like Sakura Micron inkers, and that's it. And I used felt tip markers. Oh, I could show you some art. One day maybe I'll put it up on my channel, my old art, so you guys can all laugh at it, because in my live streams on my other channel, I've shown my old art. But now when I started doing this, I had to pick on the fly what color was going to be the outside skin color, because I felt like I was just, I don't know why I picked red, because the other option was purple, and I did kind of put purple on it, and the purple didn't look good. Because I feel like I'm just picking and choosing. I'm just picking and choosing. I don't know about you guys. But last week I actually went to 2 plays. Well, I went to a concert and then I went to a Broadway play at Playhouse Square. It's a really big, fancy, old-timey looking place. And what I saw there was The Life of Pi on Broadway, which was, it was so phenomenal. And I also saw the Final Fantasy Rebirth concert, which was great, but I didn't like it as much as I enjoyed the Distant Worlds concerts, and it's probably because the music from Rebirth is not, it's good, right? Okay, it's good, but it's not my preference. And some of the score that they picked from the game, like they did the Aerith song from near the Golden Saucer area, you know, the one where she's singing in place of Jessie. That song was done as an instrumental instead of with lyrics, and I was so ready to like feel my feelings hearing the song again, but they didn't even play the girl singing from the game. They just played the instrumental version. And I'm also sorry about my hand kind of being in the way for these. I really don't know how to film it so my hand doesn't get in the way. Every time I see other people do videos that are similar to mine, somehow they always manage to never have their hands in the way. So I don't know what kind of wizardry that they're doing, but I would love to learn. But every time I ask them, it's whatever. But as you can see here, I'm trying to reblend and darken the skin a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit more, because the lavender skin, I don't know, man. It looked real bad. And now that I see it, now that I color graded it, it actually looks really good. Like, I'm watching as I'm re-recording it, and it looks really good this way. But on the paper, it kind of looks different. And that's probably because I was staring at it too long, because I mentioned the color blindness. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Oh my god. Sorry, so the place that I actually do my art is I do my art at my desk. And I didn't know that my mouse was in here because I didn't review the footage fully. But I'm sorry about that. So my favorite characters from the show are actually Jinx and Ekko. Oh my god, they're my heart and soul. Their relationship is so perfect. And it's also like my favorite, where it's like enemies to lovers kind of trope. Oh my god, enemies to lovers, my favorite. Also, you know what else is my favorite trope? Former long lost best friends that come back together to be a couple. That is also my favorite trope. That's probably why I like Jinx and Ekko so much, because the trope between them is super, it's my favorite. It's just my favorite. I don't get to have that trope so often And oh, also, like, here, I actually tried to use a little bit of I got all these inking pens because I got crazy. And I thought maybe I'll add some ink. But I think it was a mistake. I think the inking was a mistake. I thought that maybe I would add some inking so you could see like a little bit more definition on stuff like the metal, but that's not what I did for the rest of it. So I don't know. I keep thinking I'm going to do 1,000,001 things with every piece. I don't know about anyone else, but every single artwork that I've ever done, I feel like I am doing a whole new process every time. The only thing that I don't do is I don't do so when it comes to digital, I always make sure that I fill the whole thing like with a clipping mask. But when it comes to traditional, I probably are basically doing the same thing. But now I'm also decided that I wanted to finish this up and I wanted to do like a starry night kind of thing. Not like from, not from like Van Gogh, but I wanted to make it look like this romantic under the sea star. I don't know. In my brain, it was more romantic in my brain than it was on paper. But I am using my acrylic markers from Artxx here. I don't know. These markers are the best. I know that they're just overcharging for these markers, but they just are so much better than the Ohuhu markers. And what I'm going to do for you guys is next week or sometime, I'm going to put together my Life of Pi tiger and I'm going to paint it. And I'm going to paint it with the Ohuhu markers because I just got them and I don't really like them that much, but I feel like I have to give them a chance. And I feel like the only way to give them a chance is to really use them because the shaking and the jerking and all the motions to use those markers, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of that. I like to just open it up and start because there's something about my ADHD that like once I have to press like 6 times and then the color comes out, I'm like, I already don't want to color anymore. I'm like already over the coloring part when I have to like it said in the direction to press it like 8 times and then hold it 5 seconds and then wait for the color and then you can use it. Ohuhu bye. Like, please, can we have they're graffiti markers, definitely. And they're scratchy. I'm going to make a short to show you guys how scratchy they are. Because they don't feel smooth. They're not like this smooth experience. It's very buttery. I don't know. But back to this. These markers dry so fast that I can actually just put my hand on it and it doesn't leave any kind of marks on my skin. As you can see, there's no paint on me. And I wish that they had like maybe some skinnier ones that I could use with like a tip. And since I basically finished Ekko, I thought maybe I should also finish the Jinx side so it would be like a full piece. And I want it to be alternating colors because he's kind of like pink color, even though he's not pink. He's pink-ish. And I thought she'll have the pink, hot pink background. Because I kind of... what I wanted is when I show people a sketchbook, I wanted to show people my YouTube sketchbook because I don't really have... Like, my sketchbooks are really gross and really messy. And I don't have anything fancy to show anybody. Like, that they could look through. That's cool. Like, if you saw some of my old sketchbooks, you would be embarrassed. Because what I used to do, like, the reason why I switched to digital art for the most part is because when you are doing traditional art, I had this thing where it was an anxiety thing for me where the moment I realized that it was bad, I would tear the paper out. So I would have like 30 pages in a book that used to have like 300 pages. It was ridiculous. And I figured I wanted to stop wasting paper, so I'll get into digital art. And now I'm going back, and now I realize I'm not going to waste my paper. I'm going to try to make something out of it if I can. And if I can't, I'll just leave the grossness in there because it's part of the journey. And I think if you're the same type, you should do it too. But look at this. I'm almost done. I think it looks cool. It reminds me of very like Arcane, like from the opening where it has all the extreme stuff. I don't know what you guys think of it. I worked really hard on these 2 pages, especially since this is the opening page. And I tried to do like a white outline because I wanted to add stars. I have a special marker I got that was white so that I would be able to like do white. But when I tried to do it the other day, like I tried to do it here, like before, it didn't work. Like I used it in, what's it called? Jinx's eyes in my last video. You saw the black pen with the white on the end? That didn't work. That pen's dried out. Probably because I never used it. But I thought I was going to do Inktober in a sketchbook. I get so hyped up on things I'm going to do and then I don't do them. Just so you know, that's me. So I decided I was going to go over it with a light marker on this side. And then I think I did either the same. Like here you go. Look, see, I did like the stars. But you know what? It kind of looks like bubbles. I don't know. Tell me what you think. You know, like, okay, how about this? If you've made it this far, if you think it looks like bubbles, put a bubble emoji. And if you think it looks like a star, put a star emoji. And I will just take it as it is if you don't know what to comment. But I'm almost done with this now. And this has been a long time. I don't even know what I'm going to draw next week. I was thinking about drawing in my other sketchbook so you guys could see my other sketchbook. And I was going to draw Kiteswa, one of my OCs, and I love drawing her. But I was thinking of like maybe I could make this one my experimental fan art book. But as you can see, I finished it. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this is the whole spread? Do you think it's pretty? Do you think I could have done something better? I'll take critiques in the comment section if you have them. But now that we're near the end of the video, if you guys wanted to see the other version, you guys can go check out the Jinx version. But so here's the Jinx version up close. I really worked hard on this side. This side was harder than the other side, actually. And here's the Ekko side. What do you guys think? I think it was like 10 hours of work for one side and 1 hour for the other side. So thank you guys. And I hope that you guys have a good weekend. And I'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.